Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. This is amateur artist Mark D. Chandler once again from Manland. And while I was reminiscing about the good old days and some of the videos I shot, Bone's back there in the background. He's trying to find some good background music just for his videos. Say hello, Bone.
Okay, thanks. I had one.
Poor fella.
My computer crashed and I lost it. I don't know where the heck it was.
He forgot his title music. Behind the scenes drama. Excuse me. I was wanting to laugh and cough at the same time. But reminiscing about the good old days and the days of the Fire Rogue that I've been experimenting with, and I went back and saw Armed Rogue, and that's the channel name. Shout out there for you. Most of you know who Armed Rogue is. She made a couple of videos, and maybe one more, I'm not sure, about the Rudiger roll, or what we term as the Fire Rogue, which uses the cotton ball, just a basic cotton ball. And, well, I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know what, I don't think she ever actually successfully made that ember inside the cotton roll. And that's kind of sad. This is a very simple technique. I'm not saying that she's not any good at it, not in the least. I think she gave up too quickly, because I got it very quickly. Well, I mean, I had some failed attempts, but man, I'm telling you, it's a very simple process. It really is. And I want to share that with you. Now, I've not done this probably in a good year, so I'm way out of practice. Bone went out there and found me a cotton ball. And I'm going to use some ash from cigarette ash. I know that sounds kind of that, but that's just what it is. Usually you're going to use white ash and a lot of other materials like Comet Cleanser. Videos that I've done includes Babo, which is a Comet look-alike. But I'm going to use actual cigarette ash to do this Fire Rogue. And I'm not going to blow it into flame. All I'm going to do is just get it to where it's an ember and get it to glow where you can see it. And then the next process would be to put it in a bird's nest and then eventually blow it into flame. But it's very easy to do. I say it's easy, and it is. But just like any other technique out there, it's not simple to watch a video. You actually have to do it. And then once you get it done, you realize what it takes to get the process working. There's a lot of variables in that. I'm going to try to explain it as I go through this video, what I think is happening and what my technique is. So please watch this video. I'm going to try to make it quick, but you know it never really is. So let's get down here. We're going to do it on Bone's yard actual porch. On the bare wood of this porch. We're going to make a fire off of it, man. How cool is that? Bone's breath beneath our feet.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's a video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to sit there and show you here on Bone's porch. Just a piece of wood. This is a 2x4. It's got a few knots and stuff in there, and it's kind of dirty. And there's a nail. That's why this is facing up this way, so I don't put it down, you know, for the stroking technique. But while I'm unrolling the cotton ball here, trying to make sure I know exactly where I'm at in the frame. Trying hard to do this right here on camera. But we're just going to take a cotton ball, and once you break the surface of that cotton ball, it's going to be kind of like rolled up. And we're going to unroll this thing, and this generally happens right here. It opens up kind of like frog legs. That's the only way I know to describe it. But as I'm doing this, I want to give another shout out to my buddy Boggy Creek Beast. He is the actual channel that I saw this technique from. And I'll admit that when I first saw this, I thought this was one of those you know, it's not a real video, that type of thing, that it was faked. And after I got to talking to him, I mean, almost immediately I realized that this was an actual true technique. And I just bumped the camera stand, of course. But it's really a very simple process. Now, I'm using cotton ball. There's a lot of natural materials out there in the woods. I am not an expert in this. Watch Boggy Creek Beast. Go to his channel. Please subscribe. Watch the videos he did. He didn't put the videos out there to you know, to gain subscribers. He did it as a documentary to document what he's been doing the entire time. There's also another channel name out there who's very popular, who goes by the name of David West. And he's done this very similar, very same technique several times. And it's out there. This really does work. It's very simple to do. But it takes a little bit of skill, and it takes a little bit of practice. And this is the key thing here, is just to get the feel of this particular process here. So I'm rambling. Now, I don't need the entire cotton ball roll. I don't need that. But what I'm going to do is, for the sake of, you know, trying to make this thing more complicated than what it is, I'm going to use the whole roll here as a demonstration. You can use a half to 2/3 of the cotton roll. And now that right there looks kind of gnarly, but it's cigarette butts with ash in there. And this is the most basic way to do this technique. As long as that's not wet and full of moisture, you're going to have a lot of success. And you're going to get your hands dirty. Now, I've done this a lot of times with Comet Cleanser or Babo. And we're going to take that ash and we're just going to sprinkle it right here on the bottom third of the cotton ball. It doesn't take much. I'm actually overdoing it, hoping to get the camera to show it up. Very, very little cigarette ash. And I don't think it really matters what name brand. That's about right. And then we're going to take that cotton ball and we're going to roll it up. Now I'm going to remember right here, I've got a nail sticking there. And we're going to roll this up tight, hand tight, all the way. And like I say, I don't need this entire cotton ball to make this work. And I'm not going to blow this into flame. All I'm going to do is to get the ember, show it to the camera. That will be the end of the demonstration for the fire roll. Now, normally on this piece right here, I would actually roll on top of that, but since it's got that nail in there, I'm going to take my hand and roll the cotton ball. Make sure this is in frame again, yeah. And just rolling that cotton ball. Now see, I put pressure on it and I felt the cotton ball scoot. I can also feel dirt on here. You don't really want dirt. Dirt's an insulator. It might actually work, I don't know. I'm an amateur. But all I'm doing now is just rolling this cotton ball with my hand. It's a very moderate pressure. And I'm just rolling the cotton ball to make it roll up tighter and flatter. And I'm going to do this several times. Once you get good with this technique, you can do this thing really, really fast. But I'm going through it in slow paces. And I'm going to get that cotton ball roll up as tight as I can. Now, I can feel moisture. But the amazing thing, according to Boggy Creek Beast, I have actually watched him do this with wet dung. That's right, wet poo-poo. Not human poo-poo. I don't know what kind of poo-poo it was, but it was wet. He actually got this technique to work with wet poo. So, I don't know what makes this thing work, if it's the moisture, the heat, the pressure. The ash is acting like an accelerant or a propellant or whatever it is. You can use Babo, Comet Cleanser. You can use actual white ash from a previous fire. There's all kind of materials out there that can do this. And as I'm rolling, this cotton ball is more than tight than what I need it to be. And it's already like a doobie, just hand tight. Now, we're going to make this even tighter. And we're going to take that wooden plank. And this is the nail side that's not on the nail side. There's the nail. I've got to remember that. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to roll it with this board and make it even tighter. So if it's out of frame of the camera, I apologize. We're not doing any trickery here. This technique works. I've not done it in over a year and I bumped the camera again. Let me get the camera here repositioned, because I'm kind of like needing that space right there. And trying to get a mental. Let's park that right there so I know right about there-ish. Okay. We're not going to trick you. Now I'm putting, again, moderate pressure, but I'm getting a lot more pressure from this board, rolling this cotton ball up a lot tighter. And of course it's picking up the oil, debris, all that's here. And once you do this, sometimes you'll feel it scoot to the side and it'll want to roll to the side or something. That's part of the practice. You feel the technique, you have the muscle memory in your hands, and you do this especially when you get to the friction part. When you start to apply the pressure and the speed, you try to keep that cotton ball in the center of what you're trying to do here as much as possible. And that's pretty tight right there. I'm going to get it just a few more. It doesn't take this long. I'm dragging this out as I'm doing this. Believe me, I really am dragging this out. Now, when I'm looking at the camera here, and I know I don't really need to go past this point here, so I'm going to move this. We're going to put the cotton ball here. My shadow may be in the way. Now, once I start to roll, I'm going to roll forward. And as I do, I'm going to put moderate pressure down. I mean, kind of like my full body weight, but I'm not putting all my weight on it. Because if I do, I'm going to flatten that cotton roll. It's going to flatten out, and then it's going to slide across the board. And I don't want to do that. I want to apply pressure that tightens that roll up even more, but causes it to not only compact, but it starts to accept the friction and the heat from what I'm doing. Does that make sense? I mean, there's the roll. Here we go. Now the air conditioning compressor kicks on. Let's do this. Putting pressure on there, just a couple of swipes, and here we go. I'm going to move back and forth, and I'm feeling that roll underneath there. And I'm feeling that roll, and I'm trying to keep it center, not going to the side. Back and forth. Now, as I do this, I get faster and faster, and then I apply more pressure downward. And that combination, just the right amount, I'm keeping the board clean. This seems like a long, drawn-out process. It's not. Here it is in real action. Now, if you don't get it on the first go around, don't panic, because it may not. I can smell it right now. It's burning. But is it heating up enough? I talk long enough. Open it up.
That's thick, man.
That part didn't. It smells like it's more toward the middle. Ooh, oh, that's hot. Ooh. And you got to expose it to air. Let me get it in the camera frame. You got to expose it to air. There's the actual ember. Now it's smoldering. And I'm sorry, y'all, I got that too close to the camera, but that's it right there. I'm gonna put it back down. If that was not successful, don't give up. Set that aside. Just pretend that didn't work. I'm just gonna pretend. The rest of it's on fire. We're gonna pretend that didn't work. We might use this piece here or that piece there. Usually, well, that's smoldering now. Dadgum it, the dadgum thing worked. I mean, dadgum. I can't even show a failure here on camera like I wanted to. But when you put this in your bird's nest to blow it into a flame, don't worry, the cotton is gonna take its own sweet time, put it in the bird's nest, just kind of fan it, and let the heat gradually build up, and then you can move on. Now I'm going to set this to the side. Here, this might actually be the failure. Here's the one side I pulled off that didn't have any. Dadgummit, that feels hot too. We're going to try that a little bit right there with just a little bit of the cotton ball left. We're going to put that back on there and see if we can get that to actually flame up. This may not work. The other two, there's the actual two embers from the actual success. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I wanted to show a failure here to show the other part, but I didn't. We're going to take this little bit of leftover, which still has some cigarette ash in there, cotton ball, and we're just going to roll it a little tighter doobie. This is actually a little bit smaller than the original, so let's find out what we can do with this. Put pressure on it back and forth. It's about speed. That's speed, and now I'm pushing down, and I'm causing friction, and I felt the cotton ball collapse. See how it flattened out? That's too much pressure. But was it enough to get this started? It actually was a success. However, it went out. Actually did. So here's our original, still going, still smoldering. So you're going to have success and failures even in the same deal here. I tried to make the first one a failure and it worked, and I tried to so-called make the secondary a success and it actually failed. But it's very simple to do, it's very easy to do. I haven't done this technique in well over a year, I'm going to say a year. And it's all about muscle memory, learning about compression, the feel of it. And you may try this thing 10 times before you actually get it right, but once you do, man, there's no sweat involved. You're not out of breath. It's a lot better than rubbing those two sticks together, which, hey, I'm not knocking that technique at all. I'm just trying to show you another fire starting technique that actually does work. So learn all the different fire starting techniques if you can. Get a little skill with it, a little mastery, and just, man, have fun. Amateur artist Mark D. Chandler. Once again, from Manland, having a lot of fun with fire.